What do we know more about what Blinken has accomplished so far in the visit?
Well, Francine, I think the fact that there is going to be a meeting between the Secretary of State and the Chinese president is a sign that from the Chinese side, they think that the talks are going well. Secretary of State Blinken had a meeting of more than 3 hours with the top party foreign affairs official, Wang Yi, today. That followed a meeting yesterday that went for more than 7 hours with the foreign minister. This meeting with President Xi Jinping was not on the schedule, and there was a big question of whether or not it was going to happen. President Xi did meet last week with Bill Gates when Bill Gates was visiting China. And if Antony Blinken did not have this meeting with Xi Jinping, then it could have been a sign that the talks didn't go well. On the other hand, now we know that there is going to be this meeting. Excuse me. So I think people who are looking for signs that U.S. and China relations are on the mend should be optimistic as a result of this.
All right, we'll let you get a sip of water to try and understand exactly what Blinken and President Xi will talk at 4:30 p.m. local time, so it's about 25 minutes. I don't know whether we're expecting, Bruce, then some kind of readout on what the two discussed. Meanwhile, China's premier is on a trip to Europe, so what's on his schedule?
Well, to answer your question about the rate, we do know that there is scheduled a press conference that Antony Blinken will have early in the evening, Beijing time. So we do expect that we will hear something about the meeting with President Xi, as well as the overall sense from the U.S. side of how all these meetings have gone. So that should be happening in a few hours. To answer your other question, the Chinese premier is on his first visit overseas since taking on this job. He's meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz today. He's going to be then traveling to France, and he'll be meeting with President Macron. The Chinese have been trying for a while now to try to create a little bit of distance between the Europeans and the Americans when it comes to things like technology sanctions at China. The Chinese also are going to struggle a bit because they have to try to repair relations that have really been frayed following the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by the Russians, because the Chinese have, of course, tilted toward Moscow in that war. And so that's something that is going to weigh heavily on Sino-European relations.